Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Up front, I just, as you said, I am in support of the Workplace Psychological Safety Act. I'm a Rhode Island resident, retired lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps, and became a clinical social worker after I retired from the military. I worked as a counselor at the VA's Vet Center in Warwick, Rhode Island from 2009 to 2018, where I provided mental health care for veterans. And in 2017, I had to file a complaint with the VA Office of Inspector General for the VA to revise their harmful clinical productive policies that compromised the mental health of veterans and also was harming the morale and welfare of their counselors. Senator Reid backed me up, had a Federal Government Accountability Office investigation launched that substantiated my allegations. The U.S. Congress passed legislation as a consequence of this to hold the VA accountable. And I've been interviewed, locally, nationally, various media outlets about this whole thing, and actually published a book about the unjust and toxic retaliation tactics that's used against me by VA leadership. The details of what they did is in my statements for the sake of brevity, just to mention that the things they did to suppress, discredit, and cancel me, tactics such as, isolation, shunning, being ridiculed, mobbing, distancing, gaslighting, false accusations that were lodged against me, even to the point where their bullying and marginalizing tactics involve filing a fraudulent police report to obtain a no trespass order against me that was later revoked by the Warwick Chief of Police through legal action when it was verified the content of the complaint was blatantly untrue. The adverse impact of these reprisals was mentally, emotionally, psychological, devastating on numerous levels, personally, medically. Again, details are in my statement. This acute distress actually resulted in me suffering from an embolism, which almost killed me as a consequence of the devastating emotional state that this caused. Social distancing. My colleagues were affected by this and outraged and intimidated, distrusting management because of how this created a hostile work environment and a fear of potential reprisals for them if they were to speak up about any of the issues I raised. In fact, a lot of them have since left the Vet Center, moved on to other employment. And I also encountered financial stress and hardship due to incurring tens of thousands of dollars in legal expenses because of having to defend myself against this defamation and malice. And overall, I just want to say that the effect of this was more traumatic than any combat experience I had. My supervisor and VA management were never held accountable. This, unfortunately, is typical in these situations. These orchestrated strategies I portrayed, unfortunately, is common practice in government agencies.
That's time. Can you finish?
Corporations, yes, and other bureaucracies. So, in conclusion, the impact of this vindictive treatment is devastating and oppressive for whistleblowers, of families, peers, and colleagues. The details I outline how this is effective, and I poignantly portray this in my book, Broken Promises, about all this, and there's another book out that details the same thing that is involved in dealing with these issues on a national level. So this kind of thing is still ongoing. Whistleblowers are still suffering from toxic reprisals, and it's scandalous, appalling that bureaucrats are allowed to continue this discriminatory, malicious behavior with impunity. So I would strongly urge this committee and the Rhode Island State Senate to support the Workplace Psychological Safety Act and to compel your colleagues in the House to do the same so that workplace bullying, harassment, and violence can finally end. This will also set a precedent for other states to follow your lead, and that's all I have, pending any questions.